In this classroom example, Kelley teaches a lesson on the causes of the Civil War.
Welcome to history class. Friday, fourth period. Now I know it's Friday, it's fourth period. You're tired, I'm tired. Saturday's just around the corner. That bell's around the corner. We gotta get through this class and we're done, okay? So you give me your attention for this class, then I give you the weekend, okay? Start today. There's something on the backboard over here. Using your history book, page 536. Now you remember we've been talking about all these events leading up to the U.S. Civil War. Now we're getting right into the exact moment in time when we see the war set to start, all from the election of 1860. Now the election of 1860 is a very important historical event that took place. That's why we're going to spend some time right now just looking at the election. So what I want you to do is name 4 candidates who ran for president in 1860. And I would also like for you to give me their political parties or political affiliations. There should be a map of the U.S. on that page showing you the states each candidate won. So go ahead and use that and just write down. What's CU stand for?
Constitution.
Good. Hey, put that away. Focus on class, not notes. Got it. All right. Let's name the 4 real quick. Volunteers, somebody give me 1. Tercel.
Lincoln.
Republican. Good. Ashley.
Douglas, and he was a Northern Democrat.
Mr. Douglas. A Northern Democrat. Well, how did a Northern Democrat differ from a Southern Democrat? Simple. One's from the North, one's from the South. Split their party. Give me a 3rd one. Melissa.
Bell.
Bell from where? Or what party?
Constitutional Union.
Constitutional Union. Is that one you've heard of today? Okay. And Billy, the 4th one.
Breckinridge.
Breckinridge. Southern Democrat, right? Good. Those 4 men are going to run for president in 1860. And it's a direct result of that election that the Civil War comes about. The South will secede right after that. Now, we're still getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because we're not there. We're going to look today of still more events leading up. Then when we come back to school on Monday, then we're going to get into the exact election. I'm just getting your mind focused in that direction. Okay? Now, before we move on, let's review real quick. If you look in your book, go to page 514 real quick. See, beginning of chapter 17. What's the title of chapter 17, Vicki?
The Road to Civil War.
Road to Civil War. The entire chapter is what? Causes of the war. Events leading up to it. Now, we have done everything up to section 5. So I want to real quickly just ask you some questions about these events that we've talked about. Missouri Compromise. Under the Missouri Compromise, what state was admitted into the United States and was allowed to have slavery? Missouri Compromise, guys. Missouri. Very good. Like I said, it's Friday and I know you're tired. So just give me everything you got until class is over. But they also drew a line, didn't they? No slavery north of that latitude line. And that's important because it'll come back later. Uncle Tom's Cabin. What did Uncle Tom's Cabin deal with? Melissa?
How the slaves were treated.
And it was written by Harriet Beecher Stowe, a Northern abolitionist, about the treatment of slaves in the South. This caused a lot of people to change their minds on how slavery was looked upon. Okay? Fugitive slave law. If a slave was found in a free state, it was the duty of people in that state to do what with the slave? Return them back to their original owners. You know, it's funny because, it's not funny, I shouldn't say slavery was funny, but what was strange about it was the fact that if a slave was captured, let's say in Massachusetts, because that ties in something we're going to look at later. If a slave was captured in Massachusetts, he was usually taken in by the police and then taken to the courts, and the court would then decide what to do. Now, some northern states had the right to allow the slave to stay there and remain free. But the fugitive slave law also said they were supposed to send him back. And they kind of enticed it by saying for every slave a judge would send back, they would get $10. The state of Massachusetts said, for every slave you keep here free, you get 5. So what do you think most judges are going to do? Hey, money talks. Okay, good. Who was Dred Scott? A slave. That's a good start there. A slave who went to a free state, came back, his owner died. So what did Dred Scott say?
He's free.
I'm free because I lived in a free state.
He tried to have a lawsuit, didn't he?
He filed a lawsuit for his freedom. What did the Supreme Court say?
If you're black, you're not allowed to have a lawsuit.
You're a slave. You're not a citizen. Therefore, you cannot file a lawsuit. Therefore, guess what? He's a slave. It also added something else as well. It said that Congress cannot determine if territories are to be slave or free. Only the people of the state of the territory can determine that. So the Supreme Court determined popular sovereignty was to be the rule, not the exception. Okay? Good. That's real good. We looked at all that this week, Monday through Thursday. Know all of these causes because we're going to take a test next week on them. Now, put everything away. That's right. Put it away. It's Friday. Take it a little easy, right? We're still going to look at history, though. We have also looked at this chart throughout the week. Different causes of the revolution. And we've looked at these 4. What we're going to focus on today is this term, fanaticism. Now, if you look at the word fanaticism, what do you see in it? Do you know what I see? I see a fan, a football fan, on the field, rooting on his team. And you've seen football games, haven't you? People dressing up all crazy and hooping and hollering and yelling, having a good time, right? I don't know why everything always seems to come back to football, but that's it. Fanatic. You think of fanatics, you think of people kind of over the edge, don't you? Ism? Yeah, forget about ism. Fanaticism, fanatics. People whose beliefs tend to go beyond the normal. Now, how did this lead to the Civil War? Can you read this for us? Here, Michelle, read that for us. Fanaticism.
Politicians, editors, and reformers controlling public opinion and action.
Politicians, elected officials, editors. What's an editor do, Ashley? An editor.
Editor, they go over things and revise them.
In
Newspapers.
newspapers, very good. And reformers, people attempting to bring, oh, come on guys, what does a reformer attempt to bring? Change. Good. Controlling public opinion and action. Okay? So let's look at some of these quotes. What I have put together is a bunch of quotes. Now, where did I get these quotes from? I'm going to tell you the X, the Y, or the Z generation, whatever they're calling you nowadays. I did not get on the computer and get online and start surfing around like you do. I went the old-fashioned way. I used a book. That's right, a good old book. If you guys remember what this is a book. I know you guys love your computers and all the technology that goes with it, but I still think the book is the best way to go. And I found about 11 or 12 quotes that dealt with fanatical type of beliefs that when you see them, you will understand how they are going to affect the way people think. Could Uncle Tom's Cabin be considered a fanatical writing? Yes. Harriet Beecher Stowe never went to the South. She never saw slavery firsthand. In a courtroom, we would call that hearsay. Pardon me?
They're all things that she heard from people and slaves that, I mean, only people that didn't like slavery, it was like the other point of view.
Mm-hmm. Good. So let's look at these. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chart them. Would the comments, the quotes that you hear, be pro-slavery or anti-slavery? You do know what pro and anti mean, right? Good. Let's start with... No, I don't want to start with that one. I don't want to start with that one. Haha. Some of these are... Would somebody care to read that for us, please? Eugene.
The absolutionism which I advocate is as absolute as the law of God, and as unyielding as his throne. It admits of no compromise. Every slave is a stolen man. Every slaveholder is a man stealer. William Lloyd Garrison, 1854.
Who was William Lloyd Garrison? Anybody know? Anybody remember? He was the editor of a magazine newspaper in the North called The Liberator. The absolutionism which I advocate is absolute as the law of God. What he believes is basically the law of God. Unyielding is God. It admits of no compromise. Now guys, is that fanatical? No compromise. Our nation has been built on compromise, hasn't it? Everything we've studied in the past was compromise. Now all of a sudden there is no compromise from this man. Every slave is a stolen man. Every slave holder is a man stealer. We have some more from William Lloyd Garrison that can... Stephanie, you want to read that one for us, please? Well, you don't have to say the last word. I don't want you to feel like we're using bad language in this classroom, but it is quoted. That's why I use it.
The compact which exists between the North and the South is a covenant with death and agreement with
hell. I'm just quoting the gentleman. That doesn't mean you can go find nasty quotes, say quote, and start saying that everywhere. Okay? What's a compact? A what? Say it.
Agreement.
An agreement. Very good. Which exists between the North and the South is a covenant with death. An agreement with hell. The key to this quote is not necessarily the quote itself. It's what he's basically advocating. Look below it. What is William Lloyd Garrison pushing for? The North to do what? Secede from the South. That is completely opposite anything we've ever studied or been taught, correct? Have you ever been told that before, that there were people who wanted the North to secede from the South? No. Would this put him into fanatical mode? I would say so. Another thing you look at, is this full of emotion? Does he seem very emotional about this subject? Extremely. And when you start getting very emotional one way or the other, you tend to move into that fanatical stage. So where would we put William Lloyd Garrison? Pro-slavery or anti-slavery?
Anti-slavery.
William Lloyd Garrison. Good. I have another one of his too, but I'll save that one for later. Let's get another one.